We talk a lot about the barriers to entry that we have as small businesses, and I always like to think about it multi-dimensionally. So if we start by talking about financing, which is one of our biggest problems. So SMMEs are raising capital, but there's an issue between what government is offering us and how the bridge between getting there and what we're being offered, right? For my personal business coming from corporate, I always say, if I'm not given money, how do I make money to get to the small little next step? We also have skills shortage, especially in the ICT industry. I have a small business, I have the expertise, but if I want to offer it then to a big corporate, they'll say, oh, where's your compliance for this, which costs 25,000 Rand? And then we have the digital divide and the competition from corporates, especially for technical companies, right? So I want to share just a little bit about my journey. It was a 9-year journey to get to business. I didn't come from university and immediately say, let me go into business and see what's happening. I actually was very intimidated by business. I started by graduating. I did industrial engineering. I did aeronautical engineering as well. And engineering, if you know it, you sit in a small corner and you ideate and you build things and then you give them to people and they run with it. You don't necessarily have to have a conversation with a client. You don't have to be face-to-face with anyone. So I thought that was going to be my corner forever. That was the ideation phase, right? So first graduated, then became a professional, worked in the automotive industry in South Africa, worked in the automotive industry in South Carolina, USA, and then worked in Oxford, UK. And then I moved back to South Africa in 2020, right when COVID was happening. I was registering, I was filling in forms, I was calling people and they were like, we're not even in the office, what do you want? You know? So going through that kind of global crisis in the very beginning of my business, there's some lessons that I'll share from that as well. Then I've started to scale up now, have been forced to diversify, and I'm continuously adjusting. Usually people think you have a big idea and then all of a sudden you are an overnight success. But you see on the other side, it says what it really looks like. So what it really looks like, this is where I am. I'm probably somewhere in the middle there saying, work really hard, be insecure a lot, rethink your idea, wonder if you're the right personality type for business, wonder if you can manage people correctly. You'll have many failures. This is how it actually goes. And right now, you know, we're maybe at a dip. You'll have a big win and then you'll have a dip where someone leaves your company or you've come into a situation where you can't find the solution right away. So this is the reality of what business is. 2020, mid-COVID, we start. Financial investment, I had nothing. And I was a team of one. You come to a point where you're like, I can't do it on my own because there's a little bit more that I want to do than what I'm capable of doing on my own. And started to say, okay, I need to diversify. So my company looks at agro-processing, manufacturing, and ICT in that space. And so far, from where we were in 2020 when I was discouraged a little bit, we've had 83 successful projects and partnerships, and 64% of those are with corporates. From 2020 to where we are, there's just a few things that I've highlighted that I think are the reason why we got to where we are. The first one is embracing technology in all sectors. We talk about AI, we talk about the ChatGPT. It's very important for us to realize that that's coming regardless of whether we want it to happen or not. And we as SMEs are in a position to leverage that faster than the corporates. The second thing is a work ethic. One of the things that corporates have told me over and over is just your professionalism, the way you show up into a room, the way you do what you say when you say you're going to do something, you do it at the right time within budget. Those are the most important things that have had one client refer me to another. The other thing that is important is having a strong process and regulatory compliance or a framework. So everyone in my team knows that we don't think local. Whatever we're doing, we already have the mindset that we're an international company. And we treat everyone that walks into the room as if they are our international client. The other thing is adaptation. So starting off the business, I thought I was immediately going to go into technology, just technology. And I had left the skill set that I built in corporate to the side. But because of the landscape of South Africa, you have to be much more diverse than that. So some of the technology that we are building, we've realized that industry might not be all the way ready for that, but they are ready for process engineering. They are ready for a training session on optimization. So that's what we do. We've broken it down into more than one offering. And then the last one is sustainability, building for tomorrow. Apple didn't say, we just want to sell a phone, and then maybe we can buy a big house, and then maybe my kids will be wealthy. The vision was to have a piece of equipment that will go across the world. And I think that's one of the things that we lack as SMEs in South Africa. Sometimes we're thinking, I just want to pay a bill. That's fair enough, but there has to also come a point where you say, okay, but how does this look years into the future? Does my company logo show up on the N1, for example? Do I want to see offices in Namibia, offices here, offices there? And then leveraging ESDs and SDs. To get to IBM, I pitched the idea, but it was through the SD program that we finally got a project. We work with InnovatorTrust. ESDs really put you in a position. And what we do when we select ESDs is we look at who do we want to potentially be our client in future. And we're not ready to be their for them to be our client now. We don't have the capacity now, but we do build the relationship through time. So for me, the first thing was to look at my economy and say, this street, that street over there, how do I reach out, make connections, and do business? Then utilizing an online presence, having marketing, using that small environment that I have as somewhere where I can jump off of. So we want to upskill our team, want to raise capital. We are improving on our short-term and long-term goals and establishing a culture where people can see my face as the brand and already say quality.